Dick, you've been over the story 100 times already. For the 101st time, it was 5 years ago. What did you overhear sitting here?
Well, it goes back to 1964, February 13th, and it started out as an ordinary day, and just over noon, I had an early afternoon appointment down at the Winnipeg International Airport, where we're at right now. And this building, by the way, was a new building at the time. I hadn't seen or been out to see the new airport. This is my first time out here. And I happened to sit at this table here, in this chair here, with my back facing the next table here. And I had a weekly plan book ahead of me and a pen, and I was jiggling figures and what have you as I was making an approach with a client. I was going to set up an approach to a presentation with a client that I was to meet here. And as I was sitting here scribbling figures around, I happened to overhear these men discussing names like Oswald, Romanuk. Didn't mean too much at the time, because this was at that time quite fresh in everybody's mind, names like Oswald. But the way these names came about, they weren't discussing it as a news item. These men were directly involved with this.
You could tell right from the start that these men were involved in the...
Well, I believe where I started listening pretty sharp was when the name Isaacs came out. Now, the name Isaacs didn't mean nothing to me, but how a man like Isaacs could have gotten mixed up with a psycho such as Oswald. Well, golly, then I kind of turned, sort of turned around, tried to, what am I overhearing here? And I tried to do it that I wouldn't, make an obvious move by turning around. And but this is when I started listening, and I started taking notes from there on in.
It was clear to you that something sinister was going on?
Yes, these men weren't actors preparing a play, assassination play or anything. These men, I think, were definitely that type of...
Since you first overheard that, how have the names that you overheard or the faces of the men that you overheard cropped up again in your experience?
Well, they've cropped up over the time, a few different areas, but the latest one to come up was a while back here. Someone who we don't know who it is, we believe was working with Garrison's department. This is what what Arthur Haynes tells me from down in Tennessee. Had spotted the description of one of the men that I had seen in the airport here, and he believes that this is the same man that was with James Earl Ray in Montreal here last year. The descriptions fit right to a T.
How did you first become connected with the Garrison investigation? When did he become aware that your testimony would be valuable?
This was done in 1967. When Garrison started his investigation, the Winnipeg Free Press sent him articles on this. I wasn't exposed at the time as such. My name wasn't known to anyone. I was just Mr. X.
Mm-hmm. And what have you been asked to do? What have you done in terms of presenting your evidence to that investigation?
I was asked down to New Orleans for June of '68, and the trial, as you know, didn't come off, and it's temporarily frozen, and or has just been stopped for the time being. So I don't know what is going to take place with the trial as to date-wise. Or
you've spoken to Garrison, who's conducting the investigation into the John Kennedy assassination.
Right.
You've testified to members of his investigation.
Right.
Were you the only one to witness that conversation, or have you found, since that day 5 years ago, that other people have come across coincidences to what you witnessed?
There's been different happenings, but as far as the question you asked happening from here, I gather, no, I believe, to my knowledge, I was the only one from here that has ever come up with this type of information.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about following up on the facts mentioned that you overheard?
Well, there's two names. There was quite a few names that I originally gave to the FBI, but there's two names that are listed that have their own files on the Warren Commission. And one is Isaacs, a Harold Isaacs, and the other one is a Hoffman, a Cliff, I believe, Hoffman. Now both these files are numbered and the name Giesbrecht, Winnipeg, Canada, and classified. Then there is probably a dozen separate files, all with Giesbrecht, different number, index numbers, classified. Now these are all apparently filed away.
Why?
I don't know.
Where have you yourself been frustrated in trying to bring evidence before the investigation, or trying to pursue this in the sense of finding out who was responsible?
Well, actually, the frustration would be the FBI coming in here immediately for this information, telling me they would be in touch very shortly, and never hearing from them again. And the only time is speaking to a man in the news media in the U.S. It just happened that the FBI were in this place with the news media when we were discussing things, and I was told to sort of shut up.
By the FBI?
By the FBI.
Has any private person or anyone other than a government agency warned you that it wouldn't be advisable to speak up?
Oh yes, I've been asked to sort of keep my nose in the insurance business.
Have you been threatened?
I'd rather not comment there.
You've had no threats to your life? Penn
comment.
Jones is a writer on the assassination, and he says that 32 people, at least, who were connected before or after the fact have died or mysteriously disappeared. You know a lot more than a lot of those 32 people knew. Why are you still around?
Well, this may be so, but Garrison claims it's more like 132 that are wiped out. But maybe these people didn't get their information into the authorities' hands fast enough. I believe everything that I have picked up, all my knowledge of what I, has all been passed on to the FBI. The RCMP have it. Garrison has it. So I can't see no reason why someone would want to do me out.
The man that you saw at that table, or saw in this room, 5 years ago, was connected with both the Kennedy assassination and the King assassination.
Well, this is an area that they're looking into very closely. The man that, the description of the man 5 years back was what I would call the third man. He was the man that tailed me around here, and I have a sketch of him here. This man here followed me in around the airport here, and the only way I can describe him is the third man. But getting back to this man, the description that James Earl Ray has given to William Bradford Huey, and to Haynes, and I believe the new lawyer foreman,
in the case.
the descriptions are right to a T of the man that I described 5 years ago. Now, can be that that this James Earl Ray has picked up.
But you saw that man clearly 5 years ago.
Yes.
He saw you.
Yes.
Your phone number is listed in the book.
Yes.
You've been on television.
Yes.
People know who you are.
Yes.
If he was thinking of another assassination 5 years ago, why would he let you live?
Well, I don't know. Maybe my days are numbered now. I don't know.
Is this, to you, satisfactory proof of a link between the two assassinations? Or are you still to be convinced?
No, for myself, there's things I can't discuss openly with you now that I've discussed with the lawyers down south and with investigators, and I'm certain that there is a definite link now. But I say these are areas I wouldn't discuss at this time. It could affect the case. But I'm satisfied that they're tied up.
Are there other facts that you're aware of, maybe that you can't tell me now, but that are important in the case?
There are facts, but I'm not. I don't know what these things are. But apparently there is things that they have come across with the information that James Earl Ray has given from Canada, that puts our lovingly little Canada in a, I mean, there's people in this country too that are mixed up in different areas.
But there's important information here that will come to bear on the trial.
Definitely.
Do you wish you hadn't overheard it?
I think it would have been just as well for my being not overhearing it. But I think for someday this being exposed, I think it'll play an important part, and I've done my share to help it along.